What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and happy Saturday to all of you out there. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe weekend. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a topic that I admittedly left out of yesterday's news roundup, because I wanted to go ahead and dedicate some extra time to it here today, and that topic is going to be the game engine update that is coming with the November update for the King of Fighters All-Star, because I do feel like, out of everything that we've heard about this week, King of Fighters All-Star news related, this may end up being the biggest deal of all of it. But before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's just go ahead and get into today's topic. So real quick here, guys, I will have a link in the description to this. If you missed this, you can check it out there. The advance notice minimum system requirements for the iOS due to game engine update. So there's a lot of broken English in all of this. It's very kind of all over the place. It almost seems like CM Yuri's kind of slowly losing it in his old age. So, I mean, we are going into like, what, our 5th year or whatever, so it makes sense. But anyway, when it comes to this engine update, this is very important because I want to talk about a few things as it pertains to what this could possibly affect in a positive way, right? So the game engine is, of course, going to be what the game runs on at base. It's very, very, very important. And us getting an update to it makes a lot of sense for one big reason, which I'll talk about, but is also way overdue. So this is a very big deal when it comes to the game, and I know that a lot of people may overlook this post, but trust me when I say the implications of this are very, very good. However, we're going to have to wait to see what it exactly changes whenever it goes into effect. But when it comes to this, there is going to be a bit of a change for iOS users. If you are on these very old iOS versions, I think they're on version 16 at this point. That was just a quick Google search on my end, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're on version 16 at this point. So being the fact that they are changing this to iOS version 11 is really not, in my opinion, going to end up affecting that many people. But then again, I'm not necessarily an iOS guy. However, logic would dictate it's been a while, so if you haven't updated, what's going on there? But anyway, when it comes to this update outside of that, the engine being updated across, and then that's the thing, I think a lot of people may not realize this, if the game engine is being updated, it's probably getting updated across both platforms, Android and iOS, right? Because it's the game engine. So really, at the end of the day, what we need to kind of discuss here is what effect it will have, potentially. Now, of course, the biggest thing about this is going to be the fact that Netmarble is well aware that the slow-mo bug on Android is a huge deal. Not to say that it doesn't happen in isolated cases for iOS, but from what we've always heard, what we've always seen, and the data we've always gathered, what we can all basically come to the conclusion of at this point is that basically the King of Fighters All-Star was optimized for iOS, and that's the reason why it runs so much better there than on Android, right? So it has been a bit of a meme in the community for a while, and I know Netmarble is aware of it. So with that being said, this could be a step towards helping to alleviate some of that, and I do want to make sure that I'm careful with how I word this, because I don't necessarily think that this update itself is going to take away all of the slow-mo bug or anything like that. It may not even affect slow-mo for a lot of people. However, when I'm running on a phone like the one that I use for the King of Fighters All-Star or for my editing or whatever the case may be, I have more RAM on this phone than on my PC, right? So it's one of those situations where, why is it that when I get onto the PC and I'm doing double the numbers on the PC because everything's running so much faster, and on that thing, when I play it, the game is running at half of that speed? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So one of the things that I do think a lot of people are going to latch onto based on this is exactly that, the hope that the slow-mo bug might be somewhat alleviated or eliminated, and I don't think it's going to be eliminated by this, but I do think it will help it. And I'm very curious to see how much it affects it, because I really do think that has definitely affected my love of playing the game on a daily basis. Like, I would like and enjoy playing the game so much more if I didn't have to constantly feel like I'm shackled to just playing on the PC at this point, to avoid having so much slow-mo that it affects my ability to actually, put up numbers or to record a video for said numbers. So it's one of those things where I feel like that's going to be a big deal to people because everybody complains about it all the time on Android. So that is going to probably be the big takeaway. Now, the big reason why this might be happening here is potentially because of King of Fighters Arena, believe it or not. So the King of Fighters Arena, as we have been documenting here on the channel, and I will be putting out another video on that game very soon, probably Monday or Tuesday. I already have part of it done. So, but basically with the King of Fighters Arena, they have been reusing a ton of the assets, right? So with that being said, when it comes to all those assets being reused, why would it not make sense that they're probably running off of a similar or the same engine, and they probably upgraded it in order to put out the King of Fighters Arena because it's a newer product, they upgraded the engine, but they already had a lot of the framework there in place, right? That would make sense. So what better way to upgrade the King of Fighters All-Star real quick than to just port over the new engine, since it's basically running and using the same assets, and it's probably the same base engine anyway, right? So that being said, it would make sense that if they were kind of tweaking that in the back end for the King of Fighters Arena, we would start to see that over here in the King of Fighters All-Star, since they're so similar, right? So I think that there is a lot that could go on here that could potentially mean some very good things for the game. We haven't even gotten into the implications of maybe it affects some of the connection issues in Championship, but I doubt it. I don't think that that's probably going to matter. It might help with maybe some lag or whatever, but I really don't think that that's going to affect much of anything there. I think this is more so going to be something that's just going to affect the way that the game is running and the smoothness of it running in game. So that is more so what I would expect from an engine update. But I'm really hopeful that if this happens, it's going to affect that, because if it affects that in any measurable way, a lot of people are going to be very happy, because I've spoken to copious amounts of people that have been very unhappy with slow-mo and the issues with Android running this game. Some people have a hard time even playing the game on Android sometimes. It depends on the phone, but the issues seem to be there no matter what phone you have. As I just told you, my ROG can't even run the game anywhere close to optimal, and that thing has 16 gigabytes of RAM on it. So at the end of the day, guys, I think that this is something that we should all take note of, but I think we should also be pessimistic about Netmarble's track record. You know, at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where while it does seem on the surface to be something really cool, it could end up just being a big old fat nothing burger. And at the end of the day, I kind of expect that from Netmarble, and I don't like that, because I would prefer to be super excited and come on here and be like, yeah guys, let's get excited. But it's very hard for me to do that, given the fact that we know Netmarble tends to do things and then they end up not being that great, or heck, break the game for a little while, or whatever the case may be, which is kind of where I want to leave off here. What are the odds if they're messing with the game engine, they end up screwing something up crucially for the game for like a day? They've done stuff like that before, where they've put out an update and it's just broken. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this, because I'm very curious, because this is a very gray area. We don't know exactly what all this is going to change. It doesn't really at all tell us anything about what exactly we're going to be seeing changed with this, but I would get the feeling and venture the guess that we're probably going to see the game running much smoother, hopefully whenever this drops. So anyway, you guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this. Like, share, and subscribe on your way out. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Peace.
Continue.